Minnesota at Chicago. Huge injury news for Minnesota last week. Obviously, Justin Jefferson now on IR, going to miss at least 4 games. Do you think this is good news for Jordan Addison in that he's going to see some more targets? He's going to be the number one potentially target hog in that offense? Or is it going to be bad news because we know that he's a smaller receiver? We know that he, struggles against that aggressive press man coverage. And is he now going to see more of that without Justin Jefferson taking coverage away on the other side?
There's definitely going to be games where that is a factor and that he's going to have to deal with cornerbacks. I mean, like when the Vikings drafted him, the GM came out afterwards and said he's going to have the most favorable matchups of any wide receiver in the league because people have to dedicate so much coverage to Justin Jefferson. And that simply isn't going to be the case now and might not be the case for the rest of the season. But what we talked about in the offseason, he was your rookie wide receiver 1 after the draft, wasn't he? And we talked about the fact that he can get there in a number of ways. And this Vikings team, they're very pass heavy. They lean into the pass at a very high rate. And I think that's going to be fine. I think the Vikings running game leaves a lot to be desired. I don't have much love for Cam Akers. I don't think Alexander Mattison has done a good job. The Vikings lead the league in fumbles with 8 through 5 games. So they've given the ball away there, which seems to be pushing them further towards the pass. So, yeah, I think there will be weeks where Jordan Addison looks like a rookie and is taken out of games. But I also think there'll be weeks where he absolutely blows up. Going into last week's game, we talked about how the splits were really favorable for Jordan Addison when the Vikings were losing. And then we saw a game against the Chiefs where it was close or they were kind of tied or within one score for much of a game. And even up to the point where Justin Jefferson went out, it was Jordan Addison's biggest game. So, yeah, I think Jordan Addison is an easy start. What I'm kind of interested in is what this does for the Vikings offense schematically. Are we going to see them lean into more 2 tight end sets and get Josh Oliver out there as the blocking tight end even more? TJ Hawkinson, move him around a little bit? Or is it going to be KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison really having to go out there and win every week? Because I'm not sure that's necessarily going to be the secret sauce. But against this Bears team, absolutely. I mean, you can start practically anyone against the Bears. Sorry. In terms of the Bears players, the main point of interest for me is what happens at running back. I think Donta Foreman will definitely be active this week. Roshan Johnson's still in the concussion protocol. The only player that we've seen clear concussion protocol within the space of a week was Luke Musgrave, who actually had a Thursday to Monday to clear. So I don't think we'll see Roshan Johnson. So Donta Foreman could have a big role. But what we've kind of seen from the Bears in the past when it was David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert was they use kind of 2 drives for the running back 1 and then 1 for the running back 2 and alternate like that. So even if Roshan Johnson's healthy, are we going to see him be particularly fantasy viable? I'm a little bit concerned we won't. And then just Justin Fields, I just want a complete game. We got a complete fantasy game last week, but he only completed 51% of his passes. That's dreadful. So just if we can see more confidence from him, he's a back-to-back top 4 quarterback finishes in fantasy. So that's fantastic. But let's just see a little more complete, overall game from him as a quarterback.
Yeah, I know that Justin Fields has had a, competent, shall we say, back-to-back weeks, but I'm still not convinced on him long-term. I don't see him doing enough under center with, in the pocket to be able to be a franchise quarterback moving forward. On the kind of tight end usage, I think that's you've summed it up perfectly. I think that it sounds ridiculous. Josh Oliver is going to replace Justin Jefferson. I don't think they've got another X receiver. And I think that when they're, you talk about the X ISO where you've got the 3 receivers to one side and X on the backside so that he's got one-on-one matchups, or you're shading a safety over the top. They've not got another player that can do that. And I think the only player who could potentially do that is going to be TJ Hawkinson. So I think that, I sent out a tweet today, TJ Hawkinson is one of the few tight ends that's actually lining up in line over 50% of the time. I think that Josh Oliver's going to come in. We're going to see 2 tight end sets, and it's going to mean that TJ Hawkinson gets freed up and can play outside, in the slot out wide more. to hopefully still put Jordan Addison in those advantageous lineups. And I'm really excited because hopefully this means that Jordan Addison's going to go from a 60-70% snap share guy to a guy that isn't playing behind KJ Osborne and can hopefully be 90+% snap share. And, even if he keeps the same target volumes, efficiency that he's seen so far, and you project him into that extra 20-30% of snaps, I think it's a big boost for his value. So yeah, I'm really excited about what Jordan Addison could be going forward.